Welcome back. It's still Wake Up Nigeria. The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, will be hosting the 59th Airports Council International African Board and Committees meetings, as well as the regional conference and exhibition on the 14th to the 20th of April this year. Over 300 delegates and participants will be attending, and the theme for this year's edition is Business Transformation for Sustainable Development of African Airports. Joining me now to shed more light on this profound event is Yakubu Henrietta, GM of Corporate Affairs of FAN, and MC Abraham Enajo, who's the General Manager of Management Services. Thank you so much, of FAN. Thank you so much for coming this morning.
Thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome. There's so much that we need to talk about in, of course, so little time. But this conference, I heard from you, is the 59th?
Yes, the 59th edition.
Okay, and you said also earlier that this is the second time it's happening in Nigeria.
Yes.
So please, can you talk about some of the achievements of ACI Africa, of course, under its first president from Africa?
Nigeria has been designated now as a training center, global training center, you know, which makes it easier for member airports to get training cheaper and easier for them within the region. We've also been able to achieve safety. Last year, 2 of our airports were certified safe. The Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, and the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, were certified last year. We are also looking at security, you know, trying to maintain security standards. Right now, security audit is going on for the Murtala Mohammed Airport too and the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. Security audit too will also take place at the Port Harcourt Airport in April. So these are some of the things that, you know, the ACI has been able to do in our country. I will allow Mr. Nejo to mention 1 or 2 others, you know, improvements within the region.
Okay. Okay, so it's interesting that it's, I think, how many days? 6 days? A 6-day event?
It's a 6-day event,
So what sort of activities will be... 6 days seems like a long time, you know, for a conference.
Okay.
6 days. So what are we going to be, what are participants going to be hearing or seeing during those 6 days?
Well, when they arrive, there will be a gala night to receive delegates, interact, and get to know one another. And then we have quite a number of exhibitions where manufacturers of aviation-related products come to showcase their stuff. And then we also have a lot of seminars, peer review sessions, where we also compare notes. Then we have what we call the working group committee meetings. We have the human resources working group, we have the security, safety and facilitation and all that. People who work in these areas across airports in Africa come together to share experiences, compare notes, and encourage one another to put their best foot forward. Okay,
so I'm actually one of the people that's really amazed that there's such a body that's doing this every single year, because I don't hear about it much. But maybe I might have heard of some of the key speakers that will be coming. So could you tell us some of the keynote speakers that will be expected at the conference?
Okay, we're expecting the Honorable Minister of State Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika. We're expecting Angela Gittens. She is the Director General of ACI World. We're expecting Dr. Bernard Aliu. He's a Nigerian. He is the President in Council of ICAO. We're also expecting Ali Tunsi. Ali Tunsi is the Secretary General, ACI Africa. We're expecting Mr. Romesh. Mr. Romesh is the CEO of Mauritius Airports, and so many other experts in the aviation industry.
All right, so, you know, we talk about events and conferences like this all the time, but what is the true benefit of such a conference, such a gathering of people, especially to our aviation industry?
Okay, at the end of such conferences, we go back to look at the things we've talked about and see how to customize them to our operating environments. And quite often we are quite successful in doing that. We develop, for instance, training programs that are localized, that look at our peculiar training needs and the gaps we have, and then we evolve a program to solve some of the training challenges we've discovered. And then we also we discovered that new businesses could actually spring up at the end of the day, because when the exhibitors are done with their exhibition, investors come around, look at the products, and then decide, oh, I'm going to go into this line of business that's aviation related. And so we have new shops and new outlets in the international airports, a reflection of that.
Okay. I'm thinking about the fact that airports are now being run as, entities then. But the question has always been, why is it important that they're run this way?
Okay, could I say something about
that?
Okay. Well, if you look at it historically, the aviation industry started purely as a military thing. Okay. And then governments took over, made it civil aviation, and then government's ability to run them effectively is hampered by resources. So now we're inviting the private sector, so we're having public-private partnerships, so that at the end of the day, these businesses are sustainable. And there are limitations with what government can do. The aviation industry is pretty expensive. The equipment are pretty expensive. Maintenance is expensive. And government doesn't have all the resources to do that. So that's why we're asking the private sector to partner with us to ensure that our airports attain world-class standards.
Okay. So standards for me, when I think of airports, I think of security and safety. So what has been discussed in past conferences, and what do you think will be discussed at this particular conference in regard of safety and security?
We have bodies that oversee the activities of FAN. We have the ICAO I mentioned earlier, and then we have the NCAA. They are like a monitoring regulatory body that supervises our activities in the airports. In past conferences, we've always looked at security at our airports. And we're expecting that the experts that are coming in this year will come in with more ideas, come in with their expertise, tell us how it's done in other airports, and then we are to learn and then improve on, on security in our airports right now in Nigeria. FAN is doing a lot right now, being able to deploy a lot of, security vehicles that do perimeter, patrols all over our airport to ensure that, unauthorized persons don't gain access to our airside. We have improved on CCTV cameras all over the runway, all over the airside to ensure that, persons that have no business in the airport do not gain access to our airports. And we've been able to a large extent, been able to get rid of touts around the airports. They've always constituted a nuisance. In fact, I want to use this medium to appeal to flying public that when they get to the airport, they should, as much as possible, get to the counter and be able to get all the information they need from the counters, and not to allow themselves to be distracted by, persons that will accost them outside. I can assure passengers that we've actually gotten rid of over 99% of touts around our airports. Wow. There's a lot of sanity in and around our airports now.
Okay. I'd like the sound of that. It has become a big issue, this issue of touts, and a lot of people just don't know the difference. A lot of people going to an airport for the first time. I've always wondered about things like even signposts and directions, people to give you proper instructions of what to do at the airport. I'm not sure which department is in charge of that. But I'm thinking, if I arrive at an airport for the first time, I don't know where to go. I should see, I should see someone to guide me to go. So in the end, I think some of those people that have been put in those positions happen to be the people acting as touts as well right now, because they've seen like a gap.
Okay, well, there's right a void. Now, if you come to our airports, you see that there's been a lot of improvement in terms of signages. It's part of what ACI does. We have what is known as the airport service quality, and one of the key things there is signages. I should be able to walk into an airport and make my way to a large extent without having to speak with anybody, purely by looking at the signages. I can tell the gate I'm departing from, I can tell where the conveniences are. I can just make my way around. And we have done quite a lot in that regard in our international airports.
All right. I'm very glad to hear it. Just in case, there are people that want to know how to get involved, if they're interested in maybe coming for the conference, registering, how do they do that?
Okay, for more information on ACI, ACI, like we said earlier, is Airports Council International. For more information, you go to www.africa.aero. Okay. And then if you want to register, you want to be a part of the conference, you go to www.aci.africa.net.
Okay,
Aero is for information, .net is for registration.
Okay, so one more time, that's
www.aci.africa.aero for more information on ACI, and then www.aci.africa.net for registration.
Okay, and the venue for this year's event?
It's going to be holding at the Oriental Hotels at Lekki, and then the other activities are likely going to hold at Nikkei Arts Gallery, because one of the things we do is take our delegates around to experience the culture and beauty of the host country. Right. We'll also go to the Freedom Park, and then we'll be going to Terra Culture, so they can watch a local play. Yes.
Sounds very, very interesting. Yes. All right, so thank you so much. Is there anything we've missed out that we've not touched on? I'm thinking that there's so much activity around these 6 days, and the logistics around it must have been, you know, really, really crazy, bringing in so many people from outside the country. Is there any other additional information?
Well, like you said, we bring quite a number of people. Security is top on our minds. We have visited virtually all the security agencies around the airport. Okay. We're on the same page with them. And we have been on these preparations for about 3 to 6 months now, thereabout. And so it's a choreographed, as it were, event. We're going through the processes to ensure a seamless exhibition and conference.
Thank you so much for coming to talk to us this morning on Wake Up Nigeria.
Thank you.
Sounds like it's going to be an interesting event.